Hello guys, Nigel the Review back again with another book review, and this is the latest in the Wingleader Photo Archive series, and it's number 23. And as we can see, it's all about the Avro Manchester in RAF service. It seems weird saying Avro Manchester, and it's by Peter Allen, and what a lovely little book this is. So I'll just start by saying what I always say with these Wingleader books. When you order your book, I would order it from these people, Book World Wholesale, because it's www.bookworldws.co.uk. The reason I say that is because it comes directly from, these are directly coming from the people who published the book, I believe, because this is where it comes from, and I get it sent direct from Wingleader. It comes in a plastic bag, so if you get weather like we're having at the moment in the UK, where it's very, very wet, your book won't get damaged. And then inside the plastic bag is a cardboard envelope, which is very, very rigid and will ensure your book doesn't get damaged. And then inside the book, inside the cardboard envelope, is a jiffy bag type thing where your book is, to ensure it doesn't get damaged. So as you can see here, my book has arrived in absolutely wonderful condition, other than it's got a little dent in it there. I don't know if you can catch it in the light. See, just by my finger, and that is because some bright spark has decided to stick something through the envelope there, and you can see the same on that side. So probably my postman, he's a bit of a butcher, usually folds letters in half. He even managed, I had a birthday card from Wendy a couple of months ago, obviously because it was my birthday, and he managed to fold that in half. So anyway, right, so let's have a good look through the book. As we've already said, Avro Manchester RAF service, photo archive number 23. I've had to edit this if it looks a bit weird, because I started doing the book review and then realised the cameras were playing up, so I'm doing this for the second time now. So as you can see here, we've got a lovely, lovely image of the Avro Manchester. And we've got a word here from Mark Postlethwaite, who is basically the series editor. He is Mr. Wingleader, from what I can gather. I'd like to read this out to you because it is quite funny. As this series has progressed, it has naturally become more and more directed towards the modelling market, where high-res photographic references are hugely sought after. That's probably partly my fault. The profitable, or our fault should I say, the profitable business strategy therefore would be to publish books about aircraft that are well covered in all scales by modelling companies, as indeed we will do. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the Avro Manchester, an aircraft almost universally ignored by all model kit manufacturers. Who needs to make a profit anyway? So there we go, that's his attitude. Let's serve what you want rather than just what'll make me money. But I should imagine at 20 quid each, he's probably not making a lot of money anyway. Right, so first we are going to the book. We've got the prototypes here, and we can see you've got the Rolls-Royce Vulture engine there. It's showing the exhaust ports. They had 6-into-1 exhaust ports. This is actually an X24 engine, so it's like two Merlins joined together at the sump. So it was apparently a very unreliable engine and quite low powered as well. And they did this because of the concern of the exhaust gases. They did the 6-into-1. You can see here we've got massive balance weights on the ailerons being made of aluminium. Got the two round bomb aimers ports down there, and you've got over here, you've got the double leading edge lights, which is unusual. And then going over the page here, this was very strange. They had like a catapult system that wasn't powered. It was just tracks really. So it's just a system where you had the aircraft lifted up for its tail, and you ran the engines up to full power, I guess, and it ran down the tracks, and then the plane lifted off and the A-frame fell down. You have to buy the book and read more about it. And then here we've got a catapult system, where, not a catapult system, an arrestor hook system, where the arrestor hook was on the back of the aircraft and it caught hold of some cables. And I thought this last line was funny. However, although the trials has been successful, problems were encountered with the actual installations and the concept was quietly forgotten. You should imagine it was. So going over the page here, you can see now we've got starting to see some turrets on there. And here we've got the FN21. Sorry, I thought I'd said FN21. I'd seen FN21. I saw FN64. FN64, of course, was the later turret. FN21A, which came down and it had like extended little legs for the gunner's feet to go in. So it actually came down. Biggest problem with this, it caused so much issue in the actual fuselage of the aircraft. You imagine trying to get around it, get past it. The main spar was bad enough, but you get this as well. And it's also saying here B, other points of interest include the trestle marking B painted over the underwing roundel. So that's interesting. Unfortunately, we don't have any models of this, so we can't sort of take any of this in. You can see here now we've got this central fin fitted, which is all to improve stability and what's the word I'm looking for? Response. So here's the second prototype aircraft, and we can see here we've got modeller's notes, even though we don't have any models. And you can see down here, there's the turret in the lower position, and there it is with the flare chute in front of it as well. Going over the page here, we've got some notes about various bits and pieces. You can see here it says support here rather than steady here, so that's unusual. So they're showing the landing lights, and then you see down here J, these balance weights for the elevators, which are huge. And then going over, we've got the Mark 1. So this is the batch L726 to L7526, 157 Manchester Mark 1-1As. You can see there the Vulture engine exposed without all its cowlings on. I noticed here when you can see what's the aircraft being maintained, but look how filthy it is. Unbelievable how dirty the floor is. You go to the page, there's the leading lights, landing lights on the leading edge of the wing. You can see there we've got cable cutters as well. And then here we are as one being assembled. See how similar to the Lancaster all this is, although the undercarriage geometry is apparently different. The wheels are smaller. Very interesting. That funny little turret on the top, I think that's an FN-17 turret, I think it was called. But it caused big problems. You see the dinghy access panel, and here you can see trim tabs on the elevators, and there's that tiny little port for the bomb aimer to look out of. You notice as well on here we've got mounts for the ABS automatic bomb sight, and all the different cooling ducts and everything to try and get air in and out of the engines because they had temperature issues with them. The Vulture engine, from what I've heard and what I've read, is just awful. Here you can see we've got a secondary wheel here, and you can see there the flight engineer in his extended seat, which is different from the Lancaster again. I guess they thought they just don't need it, so they did away with it. Here we can see the radio operator. We've got the navigator sat here, and this is showing the earlier type of radio system, and there you've got the later type, which is the 1154 and the 1155, as you had in Lancaster. Here we've got the flare chutes. See the floor, how that's weathered and all chipped up and scratched and everything. This was interesting. This is the remains of an aircraft after a crash, and it was piloted by Sergeant G. Hartley. Apparently he survived several flying accidents. His nickname Jammy, relating either to the famous preserve manufacturer or to his luck in surviving close shaves. So there we go. You can see there's the dipole on the bomb door there. This is where it gets interesting, talking about these turrets. They have major problems with these turrets, causing issues with airflow, and it was actually either damaging or completely ripping the fabric off the tail, the central fin. So they did this modification to try and stop it, and it didn't work. See here loading up some bombs. You can see here's there's the sort of later style Lancaster type sort of camouflage, and this was the earlier type that they used on the Manchesters. Here you can see fabric repairs on the fin where the airflow over the turret has ripped it to shreds. His Royal Highness Prince Henry, Duke of Gloucester. One of my locals then. Jill. Funny little nose art there. We can see all the different names all painted on the aircraft here. Also of note there is the curtain. They have got the sunshade fitted. A lot of Lancasters, they took it out by the look of it. You can see here this squiggly line on the camouflage. It's also of note when you look at some of these close-up photos, it looks like a painted on line. It's rather than a sprayed on line. You can see here a very, very crisp line, like it's brush painted. This was emergency rations for the dinghy, and they basically converted a window and then built a box inside and put the rations in there. Apparently this was done at the field level. See a crew there, proudly stood in front there, Manchester. Here's one here, Mark 1A, and this one suffered some serious damage, you can see. And you'll notice the difference in the camouflage as well. You can see here the camouflage comes halfway down the fuselage and then the black undersides. You can see here all the damage in the skins there. Apparently this aircraft that was actually repaired. Looking here, it kind of looks like it's a photo opportunity because this guy's got a hand drill. I mean, and it also looks like he's smiling. I don't really know what's going on there. This guy's, you know, here he is with his hand drill. Not quite sure what's going on. It's probably a photo opportunity, to be honest. You can see you've got the bomb bay doors removed, but it actually did get repaired. And you can see there's another close-up, or further away shot, should I say, of the damage. And you can see here removing the tailplanes. And if you watch the restoration of Jess Jane, and you've seen the ones where they've recently fitted tailplanes to that one, you'll see it's a slightly different operation they're doing there. Doing it in a slightly different way. Here we've got some colour images, which is very nice. Very nice indeed. And you can see we've got changes, we've got larger intakes here. D is a main signal whip aerial. Hooflung. You can see here we've got the later camouflage now coming down just over the upper windows, which is sort of carried over to the Lancaster. Notice how that black paint is all faded and blotchy and everything. There's EMS, October 41, so still early days. Now we're talking about the rear turret. So it was an FN4A. I think the later FN20, 120 was in the Lancaster, wasn't it? This is like a very rounded finish, very rounded, very dome look to it compared to the FN20 or 120. There's a pilot there looking very happy with himself. You can see a close-up view there of the Vulture with removed or filled in panels where they keep updating everything and changing it all around. There's a Mark 1A in a hangar. Again, you can see the camouflage coming down to the centre line of the wing. There's another crew there with their Manchester. More damage, horrible shrapnel damage. This one here, this was very interesting. This was hit and they couldn't drop their bomb. They couldn't drop their cookie. So they basically took all of the weight out of the aircraft. So you can see they've opened the turret door and thrown the guns out. Took everything out that wasn't necessary just so they could try and get home, and they made it. So yeah, very interesting. This was quite good for modelling if you're interested. This aircraft was R5790, initially served on 207 Squadron before being transferred to 83 Squadron in December 41. The overpainted 207 Squadron code EM and the aircraft's original code letter N both still being visible. So you can see where they've roughly painted it over. So when I do want something like that on one of your Lancasters, I guess that's going to be acceptable. No doubt they did it. And there we go, finally we've got a picture here of a Manchester sat there all covered up, probably waiting to go out, but look how it's all chipped and worn and everything. How the paint here is all worn. It's incredible. And then there's a list of all the units and codes. That's interesting. Upper surface views of Manchesters are pretty rare, so this is an artist's impression of the most common B upper surface camouflage scheme based upon the study of existing photos seen in this book. The unusually far inboard position of the roundels can be seen on many early Manchesters and is probably explained by original wingspan being shorter. Also notice the massive area of brown there. So there we go. And also notice we've got brown going over the camouflage, so the A-type would have had green there, I think, or it would have just been transposed. I can't remember now. As a, you know, like a mirror image. But I know that Lancasters are generally green in that area. So there we are. So that is the Avro Manchester in service, in RAF service, a subject I know nothing about. So it's been very, very difficult for me to do this review, as you could probably tell. But still a lovely book to sit there and read anyway, and really, really good if you want to build a really early Lancaster, and probably a lot of this is going to read across. And you know, even if you want to convert a Lancaster into a Manchester, if you can get hold of some engines, I'm sure the rest is going to be fairly simple to do, to convert. There we go, very interesting book. As I say, it's number 23. There's the ISBN number again. Should you want to go and order yourself one, I would get it, as I said, from Book World, which are these people here. If you want a freeze frame, you get all the information off of there. Okay, go and order yourself one. For 20 quid, it's a bargain. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now.